welcome back to the channel. Today I'm at St Peter's Church, which is in Glasbury on Wye. It's Sunday the 1st of February and I was actually on my way to a different church when I drove past this one and had to stop, and I'm so glad I did because it's been such an eye-opener. So the main reason for me doing these videos is to document all these lovely churches which I believe we're going to lose. As you know, Christianity is kind of on the down and the whole country is. However, after visiting this church, I do have a glimmer of hope. Now, this church has everything. It's a really nice building. It's very big. The graveyard is full of yew trees. Inside the church, there's at least 10 really beautiful stained glass windows. And more importantly, I actually stayed here for a meeting. Now, I haven't attended a church meeting that wasn't either a wedding or a funeral for about 35 years now. And the main reason is, when I was a kid, I was forced to go to church and I hated it. But the church I used to go to wasn't traditional at all. It was very modern, and that's probably the reason I didn't like it. That, and the fact we had 2 meetings on a Sunday, one in the morning and one at night, and literally it would take 5 hours of my Sunday up, which is way too long for a young person to have to sit through. So why am I telling you all this? Well, when I was in the church, looking around and filming, a lovely man called Hal came in with his 2 amazing kids. Now, Hal does some of the bell ringing here, and his kids do too. And after explaining that I was filming the church on my YouTube channel, he seemed quite impressed. And he invited me up into the tower, where I actually witnessed some bell ringing, which was absolutely amazing, and I've got some footage later on in the video that you can watch of that. Now, because he made me feel so welcome, when he invited me to stay for the service, normally I would politely say no and scarper off, but I actually thought, you know what, yeah, I'll stay and give it a go. So to my amazement, I actually really enjoyed the service. I can't believe I'm saying that. Now, there was about 25 people turned up, and I have to say, they were all really welcoming and friendly. And none more so than the vicar. She was really friendly and actually a really funny lady. She actually looks after another 4 churches in the area. So I promised that next Sunday, I'm going to go to a different church and another service. And of course, I'll be taking my camera, so I'll document it all. And this church looks amazing. It's right on a lake in the Brecon Beacons, so keep an eye out for that one. So I guess what I'm saying is, if I can go to a service and genuinely enjoy it, then I'm sure other people will enjoy it too, and we might actually get a Christian revival back in this country. So thanks for listening to that long intro. Let's head inside the church and have a look around. So the first thing you notice is how well looked after this church is. It's in great condition, very clean, and it's quite a big one too. I would imagine you would easily sit 150 people here. The font sits at the back of the church like you'd expect, and there's actually 2 fonts here. I couldn't find out anything about these, so I'm not quite sure why there's 2 and what age they are. It's thought that there's been a church in Glasbury since the 6th century. In the 12th century, a church was built made of stone. This original church was located in low-lying land and was damaged by severe floods in the 17th century. In 1663, construction of a replacement church began on higher ground. This was completed in 1665. Unfortunately, by the 1820s, the church was deemed insufficient due to its limited capacity and poor state. A decision was made to rebuild it once again. A new church was built between 1836 and 1838, and this is the church that you see today. The building cost £3,000 and was designed by a London architect. So that's a brief history of the church. As I said earlier, there's plenty of lovely stained glass windows here, so we'll have a closer look at some of them now. This one is called Receiving the Crown of Life. It's a single light window with standing Christ crowning a kneeling knight. And the text reads, "Be thou faithful until death, and I will give thee a crown of life." Revelation 2 verse 10. This was given in memory to a W.M. Jones. Here we have two very modern windows, both made in 2017, named Joy and Peace. Now they're not quite the same as the old ones, but they are very nice. I do like them. This is a two-light window and depicts Ruth and Dorcas. Now, Ruth I know of the Bible, but Dorcas I never heard of before, and apparently he's a Christian disciple raised to life by Peter. So I guess because it's St. Peter the church, that's the connection there. These were made in the early 20th century. This one sits high up on the east gable of the nave, and it's bigger than you might think, at about 150 centimetres in diameter, and it's called the Transfiguration. And this is my personal favourite of the church windows, and it's called Christ and Peter Walking on Water. It's a two-light window depicting Peter and disciples in a boat behind, and Christ standing on the waters. This window was made in 1933, and they're around 65 centimetres in width. And this comes from Matthew 14 verses 28 to 31. As usual, I couldn't resist having a little walk up the pulpit and getting the view that the vicars get. And if you can see the window on that far wall, that's where you stand when you're ringing the bells, which we'll have a look at later. And this window, made in 1935, is Christ blessing children brought by their mothers, and I've seen quite a few of them in different churches. We'll head inside the chancel now. I believe the organ was made in 1910, and it does sound really nice. If I have got any of these dates wrong, please do correct me in the comments. As I always say, I can only go by what I find on the internet or literature I get in the church. Here's another modern window, made in 1997. I'll try and pronounce it correctly. This is Saint Synodor. He was the saint that was dedicated to this church back in the 6th century. As we move over to the altar, it has an absolutely stunning reredos from 1894. For those of you who don't know what that means, it's simply the ornamental screen that covers the wall at the back of an altar. and considering it was such a dull day, these windows are so vibrant and beautiful. This window is called I Am the Good Shepherd and was made in 1884. And by good luck, I had just about finished filming the church and was about to leave when Hal walked in with his 2 kids. So we'll have a look now at some bell ringing. It was really good fun to watch.
Oh, feet down. Hey.
So, Trevor's going, she's gone.
So I hope you enjoyed the footage. Believe me, that's a lot harder than it looks, and those kids done absolutely amazing. And the elderly man is called Alec, and he's been ringing bells for over 53 years. And I could see in his eyes that he absolutely adores ringing those bells, so fair play to him. I actually took a lot more footage of the bells being rung by a few different people, so I'm going to add a separate video that will link to this one. So if you do enjoy the bells, check that video out. I'll leave you now with some more drone footage. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next video.